All right, I'm here with a first ever look at my Xbox One collection, and this is going to be a kind of a different collection video than my usual collection videos because I'm just going to be upfront and honest. I don't have a whole lot of Xbox One experience. I mainly play on PS4, PS5 now, but I mainly played on PS4 during this generation. Um, I owned two Xbox Ones. I had an original VCR huge model, and then I traded it for a Xbox One S for like a Black Friday deal. And I will be honest up front, and I'd like to be proven wrong, civilly in the comments down below. I'm not looking for, console war fanboy stuff, but I'm not very impressed with the Xbox One's exclusive library. I mean, overall library, I think it's great. There's a lot of great third party games that generation. Um, but I'm not a huge fan of the system's exclusive library. I think it's very lacking. There's some good ones in there, and we'll get there when we get there. But I'd like some recommendations if you've not, uh, if you watch this and you see something maybe I didn't play that you think is good that's exclusive for Xbox One. Um, Let me know. But I'm really impressed with Xbox One. I'm kind of in this video, or Xbox in general right now. In this video, I'm kind of fielding like recommendations for games. I'd like to get an Xbox Series X sometime this year. Um, and I'm really impressed with their backwards compatibility and everything they do, the enhanced frame rates and the, upscaled graphics and everything. I'm really impressed with all that, and I would love some recommendations for stuff. So I'm going to jump into the collection video. I do want to bring up the unfortunate, I guess before we start, the unfortunate just existence of the idea of the fact, the unfortunate truth that I bought an Xbox One for Platinum Games' Scalebound. And as we all know, that was going to be published by Microsoft, be Xbox One exclusive, and was canceled in 2017. So I may just be bitter. That there's a good chance that that's just what it is that I'm just bitter. But moving into my collection, a lot of these games I got at garage sales for cheap and I've yet to play. But like I said, with this video, it's going to be a little different because I'm kind of fielding recommendations, games that are good on Series X that are like upscaled, or just games that maybe are underrated. And if there's something missing from my library, odds are, if it's something I'm interested in, it's probably I got it on PS4. So keep that in mind as well, and check out that video. It's mostly third parties, games anyway. Alien Isolation is my first one. This is a recent find. I've heard great things about this game as like a great survival horror game, and I would like to try it out at some point pretty soon, I think. Yeah, this was kind of like in the dead area, dead era of survival horror. Wasn't doing so great. This came out, published by Sega, developed by, what are they, Creative Assembly, and it's supposedly really good. So yeah, this was a garage sale find pretty recently. I'd like to get this one in the Xbox. I'm kind of waiting on a lot of these for when I get a Series X, just in case it's, upgraded in some way. But that's one I'd like to get to soon, because I really like survival horror games. One I kept, I tried this game back in the day on PS4 actually, back when there was just nothing to play on in the new systems. But I kept it again. I got rid of that copy long ago, and then I kept it on the Xbox One just because I got it cheap at a garage sale. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I remember thinking it was kind of cool, like the pirate stuff, but I just don't really like the Assassin's Creed gameplay, I guess, at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't like the trailing missions where you're just walking behind someone, and I just don't really like. I don't know how it feels. I don't know if that makes sense. I just don't like how it feels. It's always felt kind of weird and clunky and kind of boring to me. That may just be my opinion, though. My opinions are typically pretty bad. Let's see what's next here. Dead Rising 3. So Dead Rising was always weird because it was like semi-Xbox exclusive. I also have Dead Rising 4 here too. Dead Rising 3 was a launch game for the Xbox One, if I'm not mistaken. And Capcom tried to make it a little bit more like grounded, and as much as it's still goofy, but they tried to make it a little bit more like Western and grounded and everything. And I don't know, that really paid off. And then Dead Rising 4, I've not played it because I've heard it's just horrible. But I got it for cheap. I think at a Family Video when it was going out of sale. I've heard it's just dreadful though. But interesting series. I don't see it coming back. I don't really. Modern Capcom's really killing it, and I just don't see where Dead Rising would even fit into their pantheon of games. And is this blurry? Is it just me? I don't know. Yeah, I don't see where this would even fit into their pantheon of games at this point. But for what it's worth, I don't think Dead Rising 3 is bad from what I played, but what do I know? That was forever ago, and it wasn't even on my own copy, so it's like, who knows anymore. I have the sealed Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This is one of those things where I just hear great things about both of these games. I tried the first one, Human Revelation, played a few hours of that on PS3, I want to say, back in the day, forever ago, and it wasn't really my thing. I might have just been stupid. I don't know, when I played it, I was probably like 14 or 15. So I might just not have gotten it. It seems like something I'd like. So I'd like to get into the series properly at some point. And then I just figured, I got this for a few dollars, brand new sealed. I figured it's just good to have if I ever make my way into the series. Because it is something would be cool to, have and would be cool to get. Another one that I got this recently at a garage sale. This is another series I'd like to get into. Dishonored. I've kind of just been getting these Bethesda games. Because now Bethesda's owned by Xbox. I've kind of just been weirdly getting them on PlayStation, or not PlayStation, on Xbox instead of PlayStation. But I've heard great things about Dishonored 2. I've heard that there's a level in this game that apparently is like one of the best levels like in any game in recent memory. I've heard great things about Dishonored 2. Another game I played on the 360 this time, a little bit of, was Dishonored 1, and it was another game I don't think I got back then. Once again, I was probably 15. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like 15 when I tried it. So I don't think I got it then. So it's one I'd like to give another shot. And maybe I'll skip to Dishonored 2. I don't know if that's something I shouldn't do, but I've just heard great things about Dishonored 2. And I'd like to give it a go. But Bethesda's interesting to me because what I find interesting out of their main catalog is not the Bethesda Game Studios stuff, and we'll get to that at some point, but I'm just not huge into the Bethesda Game Studios proper, but I think Arcane's really interesting, Tango is really interesting, id, they got some cool guys like under them that I don't think their games even really sell. Machine Games is another one. I don't think their games even really sell very much, but that they're good stuff. Some good, interesting games in there. Another one I never played, I heard good things about, but I haven't played it yet. I got for a few dollars at a garage sale, Dying Light. I've heard great things about this one, so I've heard it's it's a zombie open world like parkour based game though. I've heard it's really, really good. I don't know, there's just so many games to play, guys. So when I bought my Xbox One back, my first Xbox One in 2015, if you've been around on the channel forever, it was my most viewed video for a while. I got the Fallout 4 bundle with the Xbox One. It came with the game and everything. And yeah, I got that and did an unboxing. I got a ton of views for some reason. I have no idea why. But I got Fallout 4 and some other game a couple other games that I will show in the video a little later. And I tried Fallout 4, probably played it for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours, and I wasn't into it. See, I never played Fallout 3. This was the first Fallout game I played. And I know that opinion has kind of changed on Fallout 4 quite a bit since it came out. I think a lot of people have cooled on it quite a bit and don't really like it a whole lot. So maybe I'm better off playing Fallout 3, but I almost wonder, like, if I go back to Fallout 3, was it a moment in time thing that people love that game? But if I went to it, I'd be like, what's so great about this? I've played Cyberpunk. I've played other, role-playing games. Like, what's so great about Fallout 3? I don't know. I'd be interesting to see if anyone has any thoughts on that. But I like to try at least, these big game series at least once and get an idea. Another example is Far Cry 4. I have not ever played any of this series that I remember, at least. And I think Far Cry 4 is pretty well liked. I know that people started not liking them that much with like Primal and 5 or definitely 6. I think 3 is probably the most well liked, but this was another garage sale one cheap. I've not tried it out yet, but another one that I would like to get to. It's just, I don't know. I think when I get I gotta get a Series X when like there's like nothing coming out, which might not be 2023 because it seems like a stacked year, and then just dive into a bunch of games like this. I can see that happening soon. Oh, here's a classic. I'd like to stream this game actually, funnily enough. Fast and Furious Crossroads. This is obviously a licensed Fast and Furious game. Very weird, published by Namco Bandai or Bandai Namco. It has Vin Diesel in it, like the actors from the movies and everything are in it, and apparently it's like really bad, like just terrible. I'd like to stream it. I think it only takes like 4 hours to beat. I'd like to stream it and just do a playthrough of it and just be like, what even is this? Because I've heard it's funny bad. They delisted it, so I don't know, but I think I paid $1 for this or something like that at a pawn shop. And there's one. Probably you guys are gonna hate me. Probably of this whole stack of games that I have, this is probably top of the list to play, if only just for streaming. So kind of a weird combo I got here. Gears of War Ultimate Edition and Rare Replay. This was like a bundle, but I got this for like I think $5 at a flea market. Gears of War, I actually threw Gears of War into my Xbox the other day. This one, and then it had to install it. It took forever to install it, and I lost my interest. But Gears of War, I'm kind of like want to play through that series. I've messed around with the first Gears of War, but like not all the way through. I kind of want to play through the Gears of War series, kind of go through the whole series, and maybe not Judgment, but like the mainline ones, and just try it out. It seems like something I'd be kind of into, but that might happen soon, actually. I mean, the system, it just installed on my Xbox One, like whenever I did that a couple days ago. And I know that they're not too much of a commitment, so I might at least start it with Gears of War. I'll talk about Rare Replay when we get to once we get to the individual Rare Replay. But that was like a bundle game. So like I said, I have 2 and 3 on Xbox 360, and then I have 4 on Xbox One. I don't have 5. It bothers me that they changed the name to Gears 5. Like, I don't know. Like, it would be like, I don't know, if you change the name of Call of Duty to just like Call 20. Like, I don't know, I don't like that. Halo Master Chief Collection, this game was they really bungled this one out of the gate. This was such a disaster when it came out. Why is it so blurry? I gotta back up a little bit. I don't know. I'm sorry if it's blurry for me. It might not be blurry on video, but if it's blurry, I don't know, deal with it. The ESRB rating's a little bit blurry. Who cares? They really just and like it took forever to fix it. It was like, what are you guys doing? 343 for me is interesting because we got another obviously Halo game here. I have not played Halo 5. I'm not completely caught up on Halo, so I've not played 5. But I'm also not super, and I haven't played Infinite either. I'm not super interested in playing 5 because I don't know anyone who actually likes Halo 5, but it's just so fascinating to me. Like, Bungie makes Halo 1, 2, and 3. They're beloved. Halo 4, kind of, for the most part, kind of positive. That's the first one from 343, which they built a studio made, named after Halo, made to make Halo games, and they can't make a Halo game that anyone's happy with, it seems. It's just so wild, and the Master Chief Collection is just a disaster at the gate, and it took years for them to fix. I don't know, 343 is fascinating to me. It's almost like they ought to just like put them on just make your own game. Someone else is making Halo now. Like, you guys tried. You guys had a new game studio name, and you're gonna just go do something else because there's obvious talent there. It's just like, I don't know. I really don't know, but interesting series to talk about at the very least. Master Chief Collection, now that it's good, I mean, that's a great, I think I paid like $3 for this, and I was messing around with Halo 1 over the summer, and it's just a great like way of playing these games and having them all in one place. Really, really cool. I mean, that's a great package, but they should have probably got it right the first time. Another series I really want to jump into, I've heard such good things about the Hitman, modern Hitman games, like the 3 new ones. I know that they're doing that World of Assassins thing now. You get all of 1 and 2, all that content on Hitman 3 if you have Hitman 3. That game's really cheap, so I might just get Hitman 3 on PS5 and play it that way. But I've heard great things about these modern Hitman games, especially 3. I would like to play them, but I have yet to play them. But this one, I don't know, I got it cheap somewhere. That's the story of almost every Xbox One game is I got it cheap somewhere. I figured, why not keep this? Same thing with Mafia 3. I've heard good things story-wise about Mafia 3. Not as much gameplay-wise, but story-wise, I've heard good things. And I thought this deluxe edition was kind of cool. I don't know. I like the concept of Mafia 3 story at the very least. And it's something maybe I'd like to experience. I've not played Mafia 1 or 2, but these are standalone, so it doesn't really matter. But one day, that was in a bundle. It was a big bundle. I think I paid $60 for like 100 games, and that was just in there and whatever. Sealed. I got this on clearance at Walmart. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Obviously, I think anyone knows if you've paid attention to games in the last couple years. This is not a well-liked Marvel vs. Capcom game, and it's a shame. Marvel vs. Capcom is so good. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is like impeccable. That's like one of the. I'm not even a fighting game fan really. That's like maybe the best fighting game ever. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so good. And then, I like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 a lot. I remember playing that game on the Vita quite a bit. And it's just really fun and it's just so cool. Even if the art, going from that awesome 2D pixel art to the 3D models is good. But this game just looks like poo poo doo doo. Like, I don't know what they were going for here. I know the budget was like, the reports were like the budget was like less than a Street Fighter DLC pack, but it's like, why would you skimp on the budget for something as big as Marvel vs. Capcom? Like, you get the Marvel license, and I know Disney, I think, was kind of interfering because they didn't want, there was like no X-Men, no Fantastic Four, like nothing that at the time was not in the movies. But it's just like, I don't know, weak. How do you do, Marvel vs. Capcom without some of these characters? Like, I just, I don't know. This game's, I think, probably better left forgotten. And I hope one day they return to Marvel vs. Capcom, but I'm not holding my breath. And my solution is keep up the versus Capcom series. My dream, I want to see PlayStation versus Capcom. I think that could be really fun. Um, you know, I want to see more versus Capcom. We had SNK versus Capcom, Namco versus Capcom. That wasn't, quite the same thing. That was Japan only too. We had, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Like, give us some more versus Capcom, like crossover fighters. In a world now where we're at, where everything needs to be crossover and have brand synergy and everything's reliant on IP, I'm surprised that Capcom's not more willing to jump on that. But, I'm not going to complain because Capcom is on an absolute roll with their games lately. So maybe we should just leave them be. What do I know? I bought this. I didn't even buy this game, when it was new. I bought this when they were clearancing it out for like $3 at Walmart. What do I know? And I didn't even play it. What do I know? Dollar pawn shop fine. Mass Effect Andromeda. I'd like to play through the Mass Effect series. I want to get what's it called? The Legendary Edition with all three of them. I've heard great things. I really like the idea of like a role-playing series that you can carry over all of your saves and all your decisions across three, games. That's so cool, and that is so. It has to be so difficult to design a game like that, and to design a game knowing that you're gonna have like, oh yeah, only like 2% of players even saw this scene because a choice that they made in the first game is now paying off in the third. Like, I think that's so cool, and I don't know if it's exactly that intricate, but I'm gonna guess there's a lot of endings, that are even scenes that a lot of people don't see. And BioWare is interesting because I don't know. What are we supposed to think at this point? They did Mass Effect Andromeda. They did Anthem. Like, two of the biggest duds of this generation are from BioWare when you really think about it. Two of the biggest duds. And then they're like, yeah, guys, we got a new Dragon Age game that we announced forever ago. That's still coming, right, guys? And yeah, Mass Effect, it's coming back, guys. Yeah, you look forward to it, guys. And it's like, okay, when we see it, when it's in our hands, we'll trust you guys again. But until then, it's like, I don't know. What do I know? Mortal Kombat 10. These new Mortal Kombat games are so wild with like the X-rays and all the violence and stuff. It's so crazy and it's really creative with them. I'm not huge on Mortal Kombat. I don't like the old ones because I think they feel really stiff. This game feels better, but I mean, once again, I'm not a huge fighting game fan. I only really mess with this for maybe a session, just to kind of get a feel for it, see what it was like. But they're really well done, high quality games. I got to give that to NetherRealm. What do we got here? This was Overcooked All You Can Eat. This I bought at the flea market for really cheap. I like Overcooked quite a bit. This is actually kind of a Series X game, I guess, too, but it's only Series X. I got to get this out of the Xbox One collection, guys. I have it, the all you can eat on the Switch, and I just kind of wanted to have a physical copy of some sort, and this was cheap, so I figured, I'll probably just keep it sealed, because even if I'm going to do couch co-op of Overcooked, it'll be on the Switch. I don't own two Xbox One controllers, I don't think. Maybe I do. I don't remember. Rare Replay. This is my favorite Xbox One game. Make of that what you will, because it is many old games from different systems. But this is such a great package. The fact that this game came out at $30. There are 30 games on here, and let's face it, not all of them are going to be winners. But $30 just for, I don't know, Conquer and Perfect Dark and, the BanjoKazooie and BanjoTooie is already enough. Like, you're telling me you get all this stuff and, the Xbox games that they came out with and Jet Force Gemini, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, sure, and, Banjo Nuts and Bolts, like, I guess, but it's so cool. This is such a great set. This is I think the all-time greatest compilation set ever. And there's just so much quality on here. It is such a good time. It is such a well-made compilation. You can really see that there's a lot of care. The only thing that's annoying is that the games that were on 360 are, you have to separately download them. You get like a download for the 360 version, and it's kind of annoying. But what are you going to do? They obviously, you don't want to have like a bunch of 360 games start to get pretty big in size, and I don't know if you would even have been able to fit it all on one disc. So it makes sense. Pretty much all the games that matter are on the disc, besides like the Banjo games, from my recollection. But great compilation, great set. There's a bunch of like dev history on there too. It's really good. And I mean, for $30, are you kidding me? Outrageous deal. Rise of the Tomb Raider. I got this game, when it came out. It came out the same day as the Xbox One, and I got it right around that time when I got it. Or not the same day as the Xbox One. The same day as Fallout 4, if I remember correctly. And I got it right around the same time. This was Xbox exclusive, and I really liked this game a lot. I really liked the first Tomb Raider reboot, the 2013 game. I played that on PS3, and then Microsoft bought this as an exclusive, which was kind of absurd. I think we know that they paid $100 million for this to be a year-long exclusive, which is so dumb. What a bad move. But it's also like, that's probably the entire dev cost of this game that Square Enix got for free, and all they had to do was put it on Xbox for a year. So that's absurd, but I really like this game a lot. I really like this reboot Tomb Raider series, although I never finished the third one. But Crystal Dynamics is talented. It's a shame that they had to get put on the Avengers game, that they're clearly not made to be a live service team, and they just get thrown on that anyway. But they're working on Tomb Raider again under Embracer, published by Amazon for some reason. I don't know. But great game. Great game to have on the Xbox One when you first get it, too. When I first got it. Kind of memorable. It was right around like Thanksgiving break time. I remember playing it and really enjoying it. I think it was probably my favorite game of that year. I don't think 2015 is a very strong year for video games. I remember being really impressed with it graphically and just thinking it was a great game. And they ported that game to 360 too. Rise, Son of Rome from Crytek, or what are they? They're Crytek, right? It's CryEngine and they're Crytek. I was like, isn't Crytek the engine? No. So this was a launch title. There's a diehard group behind this who love this game, but then I remember it was like 900p instead of 1080p, and there was a big bunch of drama. And it's probably the best looking 900p game you've ever seen in your life. But this game is actually still pretty impressive for, being a 2013 Xbox One game, but I don't know, like more of a tech demo than anything. It was a big game when it came out, though, I remember. Another one I've heard great things about. I got it for cheap at a pawn shop. Prey. I've heard great things about this game, and I would like to try it out soon. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. I actually found this at a Goodwill. I figured I wanted the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection anyway. I figured that I would just, since I got it for cheap at a Goodwill, just get it on Xbox One. And I messed around with it for like a session or two. It's a really well done collection of the classic Street Fighters. It is really pretty solid. I mean, I'm not a Street Fighter expert, but Digital Eclipse, who did this, they do a lot of other compilations like this, and they're always well done. They're always full of cool information, and the emulation's always pretty good. And yeah, impressive little collection there. This is a longer video than I thought it would be. I just never shut up. Sunset Overdrive. This game's awesome. This is my favorite, I guess, of the Xbox One exclusives. It's one of the only ones I really find to be truly notable, besides maybe like the Gears games, and I guess you can count Halo 5. I haven't played it, so maybe someone likes it. But this was developed by Insomniac before they became first-party Sony studio. They were always working with Sony, and then, they worked with, what was that? They worked with EA on that game Fuse, and that didn't really work out. But then they did this with Microsoft, and then obviously Spider-Man. And if you play this game, there's a lot of Spider-Man in it. This is like the prototype Spider-Man PS4 game, which is great. It's such a fun time. I think the humor is kind of annoying. It's very it's very 2014, and there's like a reference to NeoGAF, which is like, okay, that's not really aged very well. But yeah, it's if you can ignore the annoying dialogue. It is a fun time. It feels good to play, and it's just a colorful, exciting game. Also, I bought this game like a year later at Black Friday. Toys R Us actually had the Black Friday deal. I think this was the last game I bought at Toys R Us, which is saying something because I bought it like probably 3 years before Toys R Us closed. But I bought it like a year after it came out, and I still got a day one edition. So I don't think this game sold very well, which is a shame because it's a great game. Oop. It's not an Objo Gaming video if I don't bump the camera at least once. So, Tekken 7, I haven't. This is not one I've tried out. I've heard good things about Tekken 7, but I like I said, I'm not huge into fighting games. This is one I'm definitely going to throw into the Xbox Series X when I get it. Now that there's that next gen patch, Witcher 3. I never played Witcher 3 when it came out. I know people love it. I'd like to give it a shot. I played, but I haven't finished it yet. I've been kind of like playing it slowly. Cyberpunk, and I think that game's really cool. So odds are I'd probably like this one. So yeah, I got this at a garage sale for dirt cheap, and I was like, hey, that's pretty cool because the next gen patch is free if you have the game. So it's like, cool, I have it now. I just got to wait till I get a Series X. But soon, when I get a Series X, this is going to be one of the first ones I give a go too, because I've heard nothing but good things. And then finally, two more that, once again, garage sale finds that I haven't played yet. I just dropped that one. I want to play this series too. Man, I really got to get a Series X because like I've been working on backlog games of games that I've wanted to play for a while. I played both the Evil Within games last year, and this is probably right up there on the list. Wolfenstein 1 and 2 of the new games. I've heard nothing but good things about these ones. I haven't heard good things about whatever the co-op spin-off game, whatever. I'm not going to play that one, but I've heard nothing but great things about these ones, and would love to try them out pretty soon. So I think I'm going to have to do that. But that's the end of the Xbox One library. Like I said, completely upfront, I don't have a lot of experience with Xbox One, and it's something I'd like to build up my, I guess now you can say, this overall Xbox library. So many original Xbox 360 games and Xbox One games. All Xbox One games work on the Series X. But I'm just so, they get upgraded and they have all these great things, and I'm so, interested in how they do that and how good it is compared to PS5, where it's like, yeah, you have to play PS3 games streaming with PlayStation Now, and it's terrible. It's such a great, they're doing such a great job with that. So I'd like to get a lot of these games that I missed during that generation they're so cheap on Xbox One, and get them on there and have the, benefits of Series X. So if you have any recommendations or suggestions, games that are really good, even if they're 360 games on the Series X, please let me know. But other than that, like to thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a like if you enjoyed, really helps out the channel. Follow me on Twitter at ObjoGaming. And until next time, goodbye.